So, hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between Houdini 4 x64B versus Monarch 1.7, and I let them play this position here without opening book or table bases, and this arises after the moves e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5, knight f3, and so on and so on. So a normal Caro-Kann position here. By the way, normally you shouldn't play knight f5 in that position. Normally you should go to c8, but there I don't know how it continues. Probably the knight is coming in here to here in conjunction with that knight maybe. But I'm not sure what this move does, to be honest. And it frees up the bishop. But knight c8. Also, there's probably the plan of knight to b5 to here, check, and attacking also f7, so this knight has to move at some point anyway. So, okay, this is the current board position. Bishop e3 is what Houdini is currently thinking of, and if no, not takes, of course, and castles, that could be the move. I'm not quite sure what to do here, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. You have two central pawns here, but you can never really push this. Probably bishop here to try and push this anyway. Okay, what is black's plan here? Probably bishop h4 to continue with queen here. Or another option is takes, castles, bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop here, pawn here, queen there. But I think it doesn't really change much. Check, you can just go here, and black is up a piece. Sorry. So let's see how this will prevail this game. Okay. Bishop e3. Line continues with castles. Castles and queen d2. Trying to sacrifice here f6 and e takes f6 and rook takes f6. Rook takes f6 to defend this pawn here. And f takes e6 then. Also defending that pawn. F takes e6. Followed up with rook takes e6, I suppose. Yeah, rook takes e6. And not quite sure. Probably I will go b3 here. But then bishop to here, because my idea was if some move like this, then knight takes, queen takes, and bishop c4, securing, so the queen has to move. So let's say the queen moves here to cover the rook, but then maybe even e4 to fork. And if the rook moves somewhere, then this comes with check, winning the queen as well. So, but probably this is not so bad. Probably not b3. Probably rook a to c1 now to cover this square. Bishop here takes and rook takes. something like this could be possible. This bishop here is not that bad, but it's also not so strong here. It's Caro-Kann bishop. But let's see what we really get here. If we don't get castles, what could we get there instead of castles? Let's say takes, castles, probably queen here. Try and sacrifice this one. f6, I wouldn't go f6 here. Let's say rook ac8, takes. Now this one, bishop here and queen there, and there is no defense anymore against this checkmate. So rook c8, bishop takes c3, after takes. You take there with the pawn, and still there is no defending of this pawn here. So this is nice. You have to go here, then queen takes, threatening mate, rook here, and bishop there again. Oh, this comes with check. Oh, okay. So now the king has to move, and rook here, attacking the queen, and black survives. So, well, survive is good, but queen here, how is it pawn-wise? 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and piece-wise it's the same, so yeah. If you take this though, then I think you lose because of bishop here. And now you have to play the rook there, and rook takes, pawn takes. This doesn't matter because this is all checkmate here, so you cannot take the pawn. Okay, we have bishop e3, and now Monarch is thinking about castling. Instead of taking, bishop e3, castles. And queen here. Threatening to take here and push f6. This is now the major threat. For example, rook c8. Just want to see if this is working. This doesn't matter, giving the piece back. Not sure if this works. Queen here. No, it doesn't. Now you don't even have a check. Yeah, you could take this now with check, but it doesn't matter. It's one move too late, because there you just take and mate. So yeah, here it's over. So yeah, and I don't really see a defense here. Good, bishop e3 followed by queen d2 is a nice little plan here. So what else? Then f6 to prevent this. Then taking there, rook takes to safeguard the pawn. And maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to play in that position though. Black seems to have survived this, and the g-pawn is a little far advanced here, and I don't know if this is good or bad. It's probably bad. Let's continue normally, rook c1. Rook c8, let's say. No, you cannot push the pawn yet. So what to play here? What to play in that position? Yeah, we have to move castles. We have to move castles by the Sovereign, by Monarch 1.7. Queen d2 and f6. Queen b6 is what the Monarch is maybe playing. What about taking this now? Takes f6. Oh, it defends via queen here, check. Oh, now you have force to exchange queens, and now then you can safely move the bishop. Or here it's taking actually. So bishop takes, pawn takes f6, queen takes here. You could probably take there first, and after takes, only then take here. Takes, takes, attacking the bishop. How is it pawn wise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 versus 5 pawns, so this should be better for black. Material wise, of course. So after queen b6, this check doesn't, this bishop takes h6 doesn't work. Maybe f6 immediately. There is the same problem. Takes, 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 but now the rook is under fire. So the rook has to leave. Oh, it's white's move, so you can take the rook. So probably f6 immediately is a good move there. f6 takes and takes there. So now the rook has to leave. So the rook goes here. Then you take there. Then queen takes here. Queen takes, knight takes, and pawn takes bishop. So f6 seems to work. You cannot take the pawn. So the bishop has to move here. What about taking this now? Queen takes, takes, knight takes, and bishop takes. And how is it material wise? White isn't down anything, and yeah, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, in this position, white should be better. So queen b6, f6. What about taking here? Isn't this just even better? New variation. Yeah, you have to move the rook or you take there, but this is bad because here you get this mating idea, and if this, then queen here check and mate. So yeah, but you can take this, and after the king retreats you can take there and take here, but then you lose the rook. And how is it here in that position? 5 versus 4 pawns, and black is the exchange down. So this should be better for white. So also this is possible. Now Monarch is calculating a5. Yeah, but a5 loses instantly. I don't believe in a5. a5. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Pawn here. Takes, takes, because for other things there is no time. And now how to defend this? with black. There is this threat of queen takes here and queen here mate, so queen b6 maybe. Queen here check. Here, but there is still no defense against queen here mate, so bishop takes h6 should be the move here. a5 rook 81, bishop takes h6 takes f6. Yeah, if you move the bishop, then white is just mating black. There is no, there is nothing to do here. But in all the other line, this f6 or f6 immediately is just crushing. So bishop takes h6, and now something like this to get this form pawn. Let's see both evaluations after a while. We have equal by, yeah, probably a slight edge to white, but not more with f6. Yeah, f6 seems to be the best defense here, and also the only move here to play f6 in that position. We have a5. a5. Rook 81. Yeah, why isn't Houdini just sacrificing here? Takes, and this move. Is there something else in taking the bishop? That's the question. The bishop here doesn't work. f6 here, maybe here f6. But then the bishop can just retreat. Probably not to here. Now you have to defend the pawn. Takes, and bishop takes. And okay. f6. What about taking here? Taking there, then takes here. And white got probably nothing. So f6 even there. If bishop takes f6. Very interesting. What is if you take that? Threatening the bishop. So something takes this pawn. Let's say the bishop. Then g6, but then you can take there. Take, and black is up a piece. So yeah, it seems as though it doesn't work. So a5 is just probing white to take there. Rook 81. Let's say rook 81. More protection to this d4 pawn, and yeah, queen b6 here, and now takes f6. What about, yeah, takes? You cannot take this because of that. What about f6 immediately? Takes, and takes there. Attacking the rook, but then you just take there. Takes the rook. Queen takes, knight takes. How is it pawn-wise? 4 versus 5, but white is up the exchange. So, f6 takes bishop takes. Pawn takes here, bishop takes rook. What is if you leave the bishop there? Just move the rook. Then takes, bishop takes, d6, bishop here. But you can't go get near the king there. Okay, it seems as though that this f6 doesn't win immediately. So a5 we have, and rook 81. But it's interesting to take this pawn off. But it doesn't win. So rook fe8. Now clearing the way. And bishop to b5. This is the continuation the Monarch gives. Bishop to b5. Followed up with e takes f5. E takes f5. He takes f5. Queen d7. Going after that pawn. Queen d2, c2. I wouldn't go into this diagonal here. But okay. This is Monarch's line. Not approving to this. And Houdini gives something else, of course. Queen d2, a5, rook here, queen e, let's say rook e8. a3, f6. Houdini is just giving this f6 move. But Houdini isn't going rook here. Houdini is going with the arrow rook there, rook ac8, a3, f6. This is Houdini's line, f6, e takes f6, bishop takes f6. What about f takes e6? Then queen here probably, and you cannot really hold on to the pawn. Well here, yeah, because you cannot move the queen. So let's say rook there. Seems like black gets back the pawn in that line. Seems like this is the best line for black. But it's interesting that this bishop takes h6 is interesting, followed by moving the pawn forward. But it doesn't work though, so just interesting. What about rook here? Just to what does this really do? That's the question. So okay, we have this rook to there. Bishop e2 to d3 is now the move, let's say here. Bishop goes all the way back. Let's say there, but you always have to keep an eye on this bishop takes here. What about now? Well, we had this move already. And let's see. Okay, Houdini is on nearly winning, while his Monarch is on I can hold this. But let's see. Queen d7, queen g2. This is the Okay. Knight here. What about bishop takes here? Then probably knight takes there and it doesn't work again. And if this, then the knight is still defended. And okay, you cannot take the bishop here, but you can just move the pawn at some point after the queen arrives here. But then you get back the knight. But okay, the knight can move. Let's say the knight moves. Bishop takes pawn. Queen is coming here, and this doesn't seem so that black can survive this. So knight to b5 is out of the question. So queen b6, going after the pawn here. Bishop back. Now the pawn is defended. Rook c8. Is there a bishop takes in that position? Bishop takes pawn. It's always hard to calculate this. Bishop. Okay, now we have f6. Now Houdini is playing f6 for f6. I think now it's lost. Bishop takes d3. f6, bishop takes d3, and it should be over after f6. f6 is just the major move in that position. f6, bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, pawn takes, and bishop moves back. Okay, now you at least cover this here. Bishop takes d3, queen takes d3, g takes f6, e takes f6, bishop f8, a4. This is the line the Monarch gives. So here a4. What is Houdini's line? Bishop takes d3, bishop f8, f takes g6, g7. Oh. Houdini is not even taking the pawn here. Houdini is, instead of this, playing bishop f8, f takes g7, bishop takes g7. So this is Houdini's line here, which would keep more resistance here. And queen d2. Back to attack this pawn. Okay, let's defend it. Knight can also come here, which is nice. So knight here, queen there. Okay, if knight jumps here, then b6 kicks away the knight. So not sure. Let's say rook here. Should be. Yeah, I don't know why this is so much better for white. The other line here with f takes, g takes bishop here. I'm not really sure. Can you go for g5? Yeah, probably g5 looks interesting. If takes, then not sure if you take this. You can also go rook here to rook there, and I don't really see a defense. And if this, then you just attack the pawn. And how is white going out of this? Black, I mean. Just take it, move the bishop back and mate here on h3. And if you don't push the pawn, what do you do? Rook c8. Queen h3 is rook h3 is coming anyway, and there is this mate threat. So, and you cannot really prevent this. So g takes f6 I don't think that g takes f6 should be played in that position, but okay. Takes rook there. G takes f6, e takes f6, and let's see. Yeah, now it jumps to winning. +2 already. So g takes f6. Yeah, pushing the pawn seems legit. Pushing the pawn and play this. So let's say push. If you don't take, then white is gonna take, and no, then white. If you for example take here, then this one will come probably. Not sure, to shut down the bishop and to then mate on the h file. So let's say, yeah, not this rook. Let's put that rook there. Pawn here, bishop there. Now bishop here, clearing the way for the queen to attack this pawn, but I'm not sure. Maybe black can defend via king h7. Let's say you take, and queen takes here. Now black has got a passed pawn over there. Queen here, king there. Yeah, the rook is coming over, or even faster is, I think, this one. Just moving the bishop back, and now there is no defense anymore, and this will be mate. So, yeah, this bishop d2 is clearing the way for the queen, and now it's resign time for black. Bishop f8 and queen d2 is what the Monarch is thinking at. Yeah, but this is also nice. What about queen d2? Okay, king there, and now g5. King there to defend. What about takes anyway? Bishop takes, and now this one. Oh, I see, you can just take it. Because of this pin. This would be unfortunate. So why bishop e2? Queen d2, king h7. This is the line, rook f3. Oh, you just pile up immediately on this pawn. Not even later. e5, just break in the center. I suppose rook. Yeah, now knight takes d5, and now black is falling apart. Knight takes d5, knight takes to the d4. Okay, if takes here, there is this trick of forking. So knight takes d4, let's say bishop takes d4. Knight takes d4, rook h3, and now there is the threat of taking here with anything and taking the queen, and also the knight is pinned and probably lost. So, but okay, it's defended via the e pawn. So let's say queen here, keep on defending. Yeah, but if bishop takes, there is this knight double check, winning the queen. But is this the end of the story? Bishop here check, the king has to go there. Now check over here. I think black will survive this. So you cannot sacrifice the queen. So very interesting defense here. So we are currently at that position, queen d2, king h7, rook f3, rook f3 and e5. Let's see, is the monarch thinking he's lost? No, not quite yet, but Houdini thinks the monarch is lost by big time. Rook f3 we see next, probably. So king here, rook f3, e5. What about going here immediately? Takes here, takes there, takes here. This is check, so rook here taking the queen, bishop here check, king there, rook there, and I think black is gonna survive, can even take yet another pawn, and there is no mate. So this is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be black in that position. Seems that black is lost here. Very interesting counterplay here from black. Very interesting try, but it does not work. Four minutes left for Houdini. Ja, ja. Ja, goed, maar ik laat hem morgen om de zaak doen. Dann nehmen wir mal an, was mit so Zettel und Stift und Taschenmesser. Aber wir haben alle Hände mitgenommen zusammengeworfen. Also ich treffe mich um 4 vor 1 am Johann Nepomuk Berger Platz mit dem Stoney. Das heißt, in einer halben Stunde treffen wir mit ihm dort. Und dann fahren wir gemeinsam over zum alten AKH. Kannst Downfield voran, schau, Johann Nepomuk Berger Platz oder mit rechts und dann rück und so in AKH zusammen. Dann finde ich echt leibend, das Lied hast. Voll. Passt. Dann, bis dann. Okay, we have finally the move Rook h3. Let's go with Queen d8. Oh, wait. Takes Queen here. Going after the pawn. Rook f3 and Queen d8 will be the move. Flop up with Rook df1. This is Monarch's line. Rook df1. And then the sneaky move Queen b6 back. And if Rook there, then you might be able to take there. No, you're not. Because this is just lost here. So it doesn't work in no variations. Queen d8. Oh wow, Queen d8. We really had Queen d8 on the board. Yeah, it's not such a bad move. Houdini approves, but okay, Queen d8, Queen here, check, King h8, and yeah, what now? King h8, and then g5 finally. And if it takes, then the rook is coming in, so this doesn't work. So g5. So you cannot take the pawn. How does it continue? g5, e5, g6, e5, g6. What about taking here? Takes there. d5 takes. Now you'd have to defend. Bishop takes, queen takes. Oh wait. If you take here, then bishop here check. Check. Discover check. And mate. So you cannot take the rook after taking there. You have to cover this rank, but then the rook is coming into the h-file and then everything is over. So you cannot take this pawn. You have to close up the diagonal and then lose a piece with this move right there. I'm not quite sure if it's actually damn it lost now. Well, it's just lost. It's just lost. It's just lost. After g5, black can resign. g5 is just a monster move. Oh, but we don't have g5. We had this check and the queen goes back to here. And now king h7. Flop up by rook df1. Overprotecting this f3 pawn. Yeah, the threat is now bishop takes pawn, bishop takes, and rook here with the threat of checkmate. So this is over. It's just over. Queen c1. Okay, we had this move. That move, king goes back. Rook d1. What about queen b6 here? Doesn't really matter, just knight here. Defends that pawn safely, and now the rook is finally coming over, and this is just destroying everything. I'm not sure. Rook here, rook there, and now knight takes here. Followed up with bishop takes. No, not knight takes, double check. This is now lost for white, isn't it? Rook here. Okay, you got this check, but it doesn't lead to mate. It's just over. It's just over for white there. So queen b6 is a good defensive try. Queen b6, knight here, and rook c8. Okay, you could give this check. The king has to go back again. And now rook here, and knight there doesn't do so much. Knight takes, just bishop takes, attacking the queen. So this is not on. And bishop takes here is the threat, and you cannot defend this anymore. So okay, we have a couple of moves. We had a couple of moves there. The queen is on b6, as expected. And now not even knight back, but this one immediately. Knight takes d4. Okay, now there is no threat of this check because the knight is covering this square. So let's see, knight takes d4. What about rook takes? Bishop takes. And queen here check. Oh no, just go away with the king. Just tuck the king away. And now there is no defense. I said this a couple of times now, but I really think that this is a great move. Just king h1, going out of this diagonal, and now with this super attack on h3. But the Monarch put up a good defense, but I don't think it's enough. Both are now on, clearly losing for black, and queen a6 will be the last try from Monarch, and then bishop takes here, and queen takes f1. Queen takes f1, bishop takes here, and g3 even, and this wins everything. It's just nothing now. Or even better, after this you can just go back with this check. The king has to move back, and then you take the bishop, and it's mate next move. Now the rook has to move, and check, and mate. Doesn't matter. Okay, bishop a6. Okay, now it's over. This was a fast finish. This was a really fast finish. So now let's see this game. Yeah, this was pretty nice. Here, this attack was pretty strong. f6 was a great move. Picking the rook, the queen d8 back. You check. regrouping. It takes and just king h1. King here, bishop takes. And the king is mated in the middle of the board. So this was a nice little game here. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.